Navzdor kruté době humor v srdci máme. Den co den stále jen sem a tam se stěhujem a jen ve 30 slovech smíme psát. Holá, zítra život začíná a s ním se blíží čas, že si zbalíme svůj raneček a domů půjdem zas. Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme a na troskách geta budeme se smát.
Where did you live before the war?
I've been living in Czechoslovakia, a town called Moravská Ostrava.
Oh, it's a famous town.
Yes, cold.
Cold?
Cold, yes. All black. Plenty of Jews. Nice life.
Many Jews.
I think, I'm not sure today, but I don't want to give you any numbers, but I went to a Jewish elementary school. So it means when there was a Jewish elementary school, there were enough Jews to visit the school to hold it up.
Yeah. And what was the language you talked in your family?
In our family, we talk Czech, but my father sent me first of all to elementary school, a Jewish school, and afterwards to a German high school because of education. I don't know what his reason was, but at home we talk Czech.
You talk Czech?
Yes.
It was rather seldom among
very seldom.
Among the Jews.
Very seldom.
To talk Czech.
Yes.
They used to talk German, as a matter of fact.
Yes, but for instance, the newspapers my father read were German.
Yes.
Yes, he was brought up, of course, in Count K. Österreich. He was born there, yes.
And what was the profession of your father?
My father had a factory for sausages.
There were kosher sausages? No.
No, it was not kosher. We had 3 stores in the factory, around 40 people working, quite wealthy.
Yes. How old were you when the deportation for Theresienstadt started?
I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you remember vividly how it happened?
Very vivid. Very vivid.
Could you describe it?
If you don't mind, I will tell you a little when the German entered Czechoslovakia in March 1939.
Yes.
My father had in his factory 4 men working. He grew up in the factory. The Germans occupied Czechoslovakia the very next day. This man was in the door of the factory, didn't allow my father to enter anymore. He appeared in a SA uniform with a swastika on his arm and told the factory is not anymore yours. And I can see my father's face, and my father went away. We had afterwards also to leave our very big flat and had to take another small one. And it was just until September 1939. And it was only in my hometown in Moravská Ostrava that in September 1939 they took all Jewish men
Nisko.
to Nisko.
Ah, I see.
You were very well informed. And
your father was deported to Nisko?
And my father was not deported to Nisko. The firm belonged to my father and his brother, 2 brothers. And my father decided he is not leaving his family, and we ran away from Moravska Ostrava. My father, with plenty of money, bought false identification cards, identity cards, and without the J was for Jude.
Yes.
And we were living on the countryside with these false papers, working on several farms, not a farm, as agricultural workers, day workers. From September 39 till our deportation to Theresienstadt, it was on the 4th of April 42. How did they come on us that we are Jews? Somebody told them that there are Jews in the Pozorice u Brna. It was a very, very tiny village. And off we went to the transport to Theresienstadt. Into Theresienstadt we were separated, men from women. We were living in Kasernen, that means where the army was stationed beforehand. We were living in the Hamburger Kaserne, and my father came to the Sudeten Kaserne. And I found my boyfriend there.
He was already your boyfriend?
He was already my boyfriend before I left to Theresienstadt. So my angle of viewing how to come to Theresienstadt was quite different from other people's. And I can say somehow I was happy to be near my boyfriend. Of course, from the other side, I started to be hungry, and never in my life I've been hungry because there was no food. But even this, in your youth, you don't feel so very hard when you remember back now when I'm grown up. So I see plenty of things which I couldn't see when I was young. And it is a lucky. It was a big, big luck. You know, you were on the ground with 2 mattresses on the floor, and that you had one cover, that this was your space for living, with 30 other women in the room. It was strictly forbidden that men coming to the women quarter and the women coming to the men quarter. But somehow my fiancé, my boyfriend, took some work to carry things to the women's quarter. So one day yes and one day no, I saw him. We were 7 days in Theresienstadt when I got a call to a transport. My sister got the same call, and my aunt, my mother.
A call for a transport?
For a transport. We were 7 days in Theresienstadt. I wanted very badly to get in touch with my father because I wanted to know if my father is in a transport too. And my boyfriend, who was able to be the connection between us, told us, yes, the father is also in a transport, and he lets you know that all of you are going to the transport because he is not feeling well. I forgot to tell you that my father had TB, and it was very hard for him to breathe in Theresienstadt. Why, I don't know. He was living with a pneumothorax. That means one lung was working only, one half lung. And I got a very high temperature running this evening, and I got ill. The doctor came, and he told me that I've got an angina, and that I am not able to go to any transport, which had to leave in another 2 days. And because I was not 21, I was only 19 and a half, my whole family mustn't go because my family had to care for me until the age of 21. That was a regulation. Transport unfähig. I was very glad about it because I didn't want it to leave Theresienstadt because of my boyfriend.
He was not in the transport.
He was not in the transport. And my boyfriend came to visit me, and he ran to my father to tell him this message. And again came the message back, even if you are ill, you have to come with your family. I can't breathe here and you will be all right. And again, the doctor told, you can't go, I can't let you go. So my boyfriend came and told, oh, Ruth, you know, it is very easy. We will marry. I told him, how? Don't worry about it. We will marry. An hour later, he came in with a man, a rabbi. My neighbor on the floor took off her wedding ring so that the rabbi could say the magic words, Hine at mekudeshetli, herewith you are married. And I was married. I got the permission to go to my father's, to the men's quarter, to leave this quarters where I've been living. I couldn't enter, it was forbidden, so I asked some men who were behind the fence, please be so kind as to call my father. And my father came to the barbed wire fence, and I told him, Father, I am married and tomorrow I'm not going with you. I'll never in my life forget the expression of my father's face. He started to cry. And I didn't know instead that my father shall be glad, and it is a joy for him that his daughter is married. He started to cry, and I didn't understand why. Today I understand it very well. My father cried, and whenever I'm dreaming of my father or thinking of my father, that's, I only can see a man crying. I never see this nice man he's crying. The whole years, I see only my father. I remember him. That's the last picture, only I remember of him. My father somehow gave me his blessings, and I told him goodbye, and that was the last time I ever saw my father. Never saw him again in my life. In the morning, my sister went, and my mother went, and my aunt went. To everyone I said goodbye. I was crying because it was a goodbye, but what was behind this goodbye, I didn't get. I couldn't fetch it. I couldn't think of it because it was out of imagination. I only felt somehow it is a goodbye. And I stayed with my husband in Theresienstadt.
All the others went.
All the others went. Nobody.
And they
stayed.
never came back.
My husband entered the Ghettowache in Theresienstadt. That was a corps watchman. With that he had the occasion to come and to visit me. But we couldn't live together. I started to work as a nurse. And after several time I was ordered to be in the geriatric department, women's department.
Old people.
Old people.
Old women.
And don't forget, I was 19 and a half or 20. And when I was on night duty, each night at least 2 or 3 died in my arms. Where they died? On the floor with the 2 mattresses, in the cold because it was not heated, and in a misery, calling for their daughters or for their grandchildren and telling me about them. And it was just too much for me to bear. I was very hungry. I had nothing to eat, only the daily ration. My husband was hungry. His parents were hungry. And I decided I can't bear this misery any longer, and I'm going to be a cook. I'm going to be near food. I the first time was confronted with death. And I was not even 20, and it was not one death at night. It fell on me, 2, 3 people, and I had to pick them up and to carry them away to the Leichenhalle. And
Corpses.
can you? With the corpses afterwards, yes, of course. And what was left over, I had to make a package out of it, because the very next day relatives came to fetch it. You know, and this was I couldn't cope with. You know, to be taken out of your comfort, of your surroundings, which you have been used to your whole life. It is impossible to live it over, because first of all, your personality breaks. First of all. Yes, and the disappointment in living. And then all these thoughts, what I'm living for, why I'm living for. And the moment you leave, you're losing the will of life.
On the hope, Andy.
Yes, the people are dying. If they are 40, if they are 20, or if they are 70. If you have not any perspective in front of you, you can't go on. When your spirit dies, you're dying.
But this
was what happened. Why so many died? That's my personal translation of today.
But you are completely right. But this was a policy of the Germans.
Yes, of course.
To have them die.
Look here, that's again our side. When I'm reading today books, when I'm reading what happened, and when I start to think, so from our side, we were just dancing to the Germans' music, I think, because they made the research, they made the program, and they just wanted it to be like this. They succeeded in their plans, in what they have been doing. Because they broke us. From their side it was programmed. Only we didn't know about it. We didn't know about it.
Yes, for me it was always one of the most horrible...
You know, afterwards I will tell you a very hard story. What happened to me? I told you my father was a very clever and intelligent person. And he's every time, he didn't went to high schools or to colleges, but he was very practical, logical thinking man. One day a cart reached me in Terezin. I was walking on the street. A gendarme, a Czech, came to me.
A Czech gendarme?
A Czech gendarme, and gave it to me so that nobody could see it, because it was strictly forbidden. Even he could sit in jail if somebody should have seen him, to reach me over something, because it was for him strictly forbidden to get in touch with prisoners. Until today, I don't know how he has known that the card belonged to me. I no idea. But it was the last card from my father. And the words were, we arrived in Poland. They separated women from men. Your mother didn't want it to go from my side and was shooted in front of my eyes. Now I will search for Edith, my sister. If I will not find her, I will commit suicide. I got this card and I didn't know what was going on, why they were separated, why my mother was shooting, that she didn't want it to go from the side, you know. When I started to operate the words, to the sentences, it didn't make sense to me.
How is this possible?
And it was not a warning. I don't know the translation of the words, because they were Frank words. Today I know they were Frank words. Today I know what this card meant. But to be in the ghetto and to get such a card, you couldn't. I don't know why. I don't know.
It was for... where did he die? In Auschwitz?
No. He did not die in Auschwitz. It was on the way to Treblinka, something like this. I can only tell you that the people threw out cards from wagons. So that was the last card from my father. And I told you that my father was together with my uncle. He had no children, this uncle, and I was his beloved niece. And into Theresienstadt came the Jewish news from the Jewish communities who still worked in the towns.
In Prague?
In Prague. And I got one day, and I didn't read it. It didn't interest me, the Jewish news from Prague. One day I got one of these news to my hand, and I opened and I saw the Partie that my uncle died in Moravska Ostrava. So I thanked God that this uncle died normally in a bed from cancer. That was what I heard from my family. I've known that my mother died, but didn't know what happened to my father. I didn't know what happened to my sister, if they're living, if they're not living. And I was sure they are living. I was sure of it, somehow. I got an occupation in the kitchen.
Yes, let's come back to this. That you said that you wanted to work near the food.
Yes, yes. Yes, so I tell you something. People in misery are acting like animals. That is the instinct. And one of the instincts in me was food. Selbsterhaltung, to hold yourself up is only possible when you will be eating. You will afterwards hear how I was eating and how I was stealing food. But all was instinct to be able to live.
It was the main.
Yes. Nothing else. And I can tell you that when women came together and started to talk, we were cooking, you know, we were cooking with our mouth because you had nothing to cook. But you started to talk about how to cook this and how to cook that. And you were talking about food because this was the main problem to survive, to eat, to have strength. I had a luck. I am a kind of musician. One day I came to a room where a accordion was, and I started to play the accordion and to sing. And in this room was a man called Schneider. I forgot his surname. And he told me, I need you in the kitchen because you know how to sing, how to be fröhlich, how to...
Fröhlich.
Yeah. And the very next day I started to work. Hard work, very hard work. But I started to eat and I started to steal. We were getting up at 4 o'clock and it was hard work to clean these kettles where food was cooked and afterwards to carry this such barrels with full food. We had to carry it. We had to be strong. And we were singing. We were singing. We were singing so much that we were afterwards singing in the opera I was singing, in the Verkaufte Braut. And we were singing in Freizeit, and I was singing.
What did
because
you sing?
all the Czech songs and the schlagers and the hits from this time we had, but you know what we were most singing. In Czechoslovakia was living a couple of Czech satyrs, Voskovec and Verich. They were making a real good political satire.
Yes.
And also this time, before the war, they were singing against Hitler and so on. All their songs, they were like hymns. You know, all their songs, they were our leading songs.
Could you sing again now?
I will sing, if you will allow, I will take the accordion and I will accompany myself, okay? Okay.
She must be quiet.
I will leave her.
Yes, it's the best. Okay.
Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme a na troskách geta budeme se smát. Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme. Again, מההתחלה, from the beginning, because I got the všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme. Navzdor kruté době humor v srdci máme. Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme a na troskách geta budeme se smát. Holá zítra život začíná a s ním se blíží čas, když si vezmeme svůj raneček a domů půjdem zas. Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme, navzdor kruté době humor v srdci máme. Den co den, stále jen sem a tam se stěhujem a jen ve 30 slovech smíme psát. Holá zítra život začíná a s ním se blíží čas, když si zbalíme svůj raneček a domů půjdem zas. Všechno jde, když se chce, za ruce se vezmeme a na troskách geta budeme se smát. I will give you now the free translation into English.
Yes.
Everyone goes when it is possible. Everything goes when it is possible. Even if the time is so very hard, some kind of humor is still in our hearts. Every day we have to move there and forth, and only in 30 words we can write home. But tomorrow the time is beginning again, and the time is coming nearer and nearer when we will again pack up our peckerle and go home again. And everything goes when you want that it shall go. And the day will come and we will laugh about the ruins of the ghetto. That's the content of this song. It is a song written in very slow march tempo, and it is full of hope when you think about the words. That's what we sang there, and everyone who went through Terezin and will hear this song will sing the words with you. You know, in Theresienstadt, I don't want to go into very big details, but after a time it was a little better. You already could meet men. It was not so strict separation. And because my husband was a ghetto wachman, so it was summer 43, he was privileged to get a little room for us, and we could live together.
You succeeded to live together.
And that was a very big privilege, but we didn't live only he and me, but two couples were living together in this same room. So, of course, we had very strict arrangements during the day. Every one of us was working, and he was allowed to enter or not to enter the room during the day, yes. So that I started to have some married life with my husband, what we didn't have before then. It was, we met sometimes somewhere in a very dark corner, but that was all. And it was just summer. And one day I saw I'm pregnant. And until this time it was allowed to make abortions. And when I just saw that I'm pregnant, I went to a doctor to make an abortion, because we couldn't see to have family, to grow a family in Terezin. And when I asked to make an abortion, I was told it was just several days ago forbidden to make abortions.
Do you know why?
No.
Who forbid it? The German?
The German, yes. And the doctors who will make abortions will get punishment or something. And of course everyone was afraid, so nobody wanted to do it. And we found ourselves, my husband and me, with a call to a transport to East. This time it reached us, the transport to the East. And I've known I'm pregnant and can't do anything, can't help myself. We were loaded into these wagons for cattle. One bucket was WC, one bucket water. The doors were closed, and up there somewhere there was a window closed with barbed wire. When the WC bucket was full, so we all perched into one corner, and somebody tried to empty this bucket through this little window. With us were children, with us were elderly people. overnight we were put into some barracks. We were numbered. And the very next day, in the morning, we were purged into a huge bathroom. From the ceiling, there were showers. First of all, we had outside, we had to get rid of all our clothes, men, women, together. And then we were purged into this bathroom. Today I know we had a very big luck. That instead of cyclone gas, out really came water.
Yes, but your case was a very special one. I mean, the case of this transport coming from Theresienstadt, there was no selection at the beginning for the gas
There
chamber.
was no selection at all.
Yes. This you must explain what was
Yes,
the Czech family camp.
that I didn't know. We didn't know until we came into the camp. We were led into a so-called family camp, Familienlager B2B. That was the only camp in Auschwitz where also men and also women were together, where children were. That means all the people from Terezin, as we came without any selection beforehand, came to this family camp.
So-called family camp.
Yes. In this camp, there was already a transport who left Theresienstadt in September. That means 3 months before us. And so people started to tell us, our own people started to tell us.
People that you knew, of course.
Yes, some of them, of course. Where we are and what they're doing here and so on. What shall I tell you? Morning, 1 black coffee without sugar. Dinner time, a plate of soup. If you had luck, so there were several pieces of vegetables flowing inside. In the evening, coffee, 2 or 3 slices of bread. If you had luck, there was march or jam or something. In the morning, we had to go to work. We were taking stones from one place to the other. The next day, we took it from the other place to the first place. That means you made a work which had no sense. They wanted to kill your personality, your thinking. They wanted to kill you. And it was freezing cold, no food. Into the camp came people with striped uniforms. And these were people from men, from the Männerlager. Started, they were services, yes, they brought in food and several things. I'm not sure what they brought in.
Yes, because this Czech Familienlager was in the middle of the men's lager.
Yes, it was not far away. Yes. So they came in and they were telling us that the Vernichtungslager and that there are crematoriums and so on, and we didn't believe.
And the Czech who came before you 3 months before?
They also told us, but they didn't believe too, because until you don't see anything.
Yes, but you were at 400 meters of the crematorium drive.
You don't believe, because we were all together. We were the families, people who came, only people who died every day, yes. But we were together and nobody was taken away and nobody was burned. We didn't believe it until you didn't feel the smell and until It was March the 7th.
1944.
1944.
Yes.
Yes. When all the September transport, that means the transport who was in before 3 months before us in the family camp, the whole transport was loaded on wagons, on trailers, and were taken away from the Familienlager. We were, who remained, closed up into the barracks, and it was strictly forbidden for us to go outside. We didn't know what was going on until we heard the Hatikva and the Gdedom of Mui singing.
On the?
Gdedom of Mui, that's a Czech hymn, and the Hatikva.
You heard it?
Of course, because the people were brought to the camp near us. And from there, it was pitch dark. I don't know which time it was, perhaps midnight. They were taken away out from there. And the moment we heard the Hatikva singing, we have known these people are going to die.
Yes, they sang the Hatikva inside the gas chamber.
It was something, it is hard to tell. And we were inside the barracks, and we have known something is going on, something is happened to our people, and we couldn't help them. That was a terrible night. The next day, again, people with this, from the Männerlager, with these striped uniforms, they told us the first Czechs were burned. And we started to believe that there are crematoriums. But crematoriums, we couldn't imagine, of course, gas. And we were in the camp, we stayed, we worked further. I must tell you, I was in block number 6. In block number 6 was the orchestra of the camp, men's orchestra. I came to block number 6 because when I came to Auschwitz, my tummy was not growing. I was still slim. And they just took the young people, the young women, and put them into block number 6. And it very often happened that they drank SS in the evenings. Came into block number 6. First of all, they woke up the music orchestra. The music had to play. In came the SS with their bicycles. And then they started to climb up and to look for women, for nice women, and to take them out. And the girls had to sleep with them. I was living in the 3rd floor. And when we saw the SS coming, so we just went to the wall because we didn't want them to see us. We were all afraid of it. The girls were screaming, and that was terrible. That was terrible. So we lived. I told you I was living, my bed was on the 3rd floor. My friend Rutka Nasaova, Rutka Joklova, she had a cover and I got a cover. So we made in the evenings our bed, a cover without any mattresses on the wood. With the second cover, we both of us covered ourselves up, and with our very thin coat, we put on the cover, and on we went with our bodies, one to the other, because it was winter. It was January and February and March in Auschwitz, and it was not heated. It was awfully cold. Without stockings, without underwear, in these very thin clothes, without food.
And where was your husband?
Now, in the Familienlager, it was like this. On one side were women, on the other side were men. And we saw each other, we talked together. In the evening it was allowed for 1 hour, the bell was ringing. For 1 hour it was allowed to, or half an hour, I'm not sure now, to meet your husband on the Lagerstraße, or husband or father, and the bell was ringing and you had to separate. The whole time we were in camp, from Terezin until the end, we just missed the whole history. Even today, it's lacking in my knowledge. We had no news to live. We didn't know, but rumors were every time. And sometimes you believed the rumors and sometimes you didn't believe, but there were rumors that the Alliance are bombing Germany. And that there are transports leaving Auschwitz with young people for work. And that they need hands for work to rebuild what the Alliance have done. We didn't know, we didn't think also if it is true. It is not true, but one day we were told selection. Mengele arrived and the rumors went that they will take out of Auschwitz young and strong people. And I told, young I am, strong I am, but I'm pregnant. How can I get out of Auschwitz? I had a friend of mine who was in the Schreibstube, and I told him, look here, I can't go to the selection. Something tells me I can't go to the selection, but I want my name on the list which is leaving Auschwitz. Is it possible? And he told me, it is possible. And my name was put on the list. And the very next day, I, with other young people, healthy people, left the Familienlager.
You didn't see Mengele this time?
No.
You didn't see.
And I left the Familienlager, and in the Familienlager were left sick people, elderly people, and all the children, and some young mothers with the children.
And they were gassed sometimes later.
And later on they were all gassed. And I remember one case, Braunova, I don't remember her surname. She got hold of some sleeping pills, gave it to the child, to a small child, and she smuggled her child to the women's camp we came. And there this child woke up and started to cry, and she had to go back, and she was gassed. It was a terrible tragedy, a beautiful blonde child. We were in the women's lager, Frauenlager, and again one day we were told we are going to work to Germany. Nobody believed.
From the Czech family camp,
We were transported from the Czech family camp first to the women's camp, Frauenlager of Auschwitz. In the meanwhile, the men from the Familienlager were separated and sent away. And we women were transferred to the Frauenlager and came. And one day, we were there 1 or 2 days, I don't remember. And we were told, selection. We're going to Germany. Nobody believed that they're going to Germany. We didn't believe. But we had to get up, to get into the Fünfer, aufstellen zu 5. And we had to get rid of our clothes. And Mengele was there, and some other SS people. And I saw from far that women, all naked, are going between 2 SS. And there Mengele stands and making right, left, right, left. And with his hand he waved. I didn't know this. Either life, death, life, death. It's very easy.
How was he? How was Mengele?
How?
Yes. How did he look?
I will tell you a little later, okay?
Okay.
And again, my instinct told me, if I'm going in between these 2 SS, I will not leave. Because I was in the 8 months of pregnancy. Big belly.
8 months.
8 months. And I asked some beautiful friends of mine, young girls, please stand in front of me and behind me. Perhaps the man which is in Mengele will not see me, will oversee me. And so I can come with you on the right side. I don't know which is the right side. And that's what just happened. That several beautiful girls were in front of me. And Mengele waved me to the side with these beautiful girls. And I came to them and I started to cry, and because something in me, I didn't know it, but something in me told me, you saved your life. And I wanted to live. I wanted to live. I was so young. And we were packed into the cattle wagons again. And we arrived again after the same journey, terrible journey. We arrived in Hamburg.
It's very far.
Hamburg, Germany. We were on the America Quay in big warehouses. There were cots, in 3 stores of cots. We were put into these warehouses. The very next morning we got up. Everyone got a shovel or something. And we were told we have to clean a bombed refinery there in Hamburg. And off I went with my tummy, and we started to clean the bombed refinery. We were crawling around the ruins and so on. We were told what we have to do. We returned in the evening, dead tired, but somehow I was satisfied. I was with my friends, with my Chaverim. And I asked our block elderly in the morning or in the evening, I'm not sure. Don't say if somebody asks you that I am pregnant. I'm going to work. We will see what will happen.
It was a woman?
A woman, yes. A Czech from... The second day I went to work. And happily I came home. I think I was for 3 or 4 days going out for work until one morning an SS doctor came in and asked, "Are here sick people on this block?" And my block elderly, who was very friendly with me and I was very friendly with her, told, "No sick people, but 2 pregnant women." And I was so astonished. And I didn't know what to do in this moment because I didn't want them to know that I'm pregnant. I went to work. I didn't want it. And until this time, I didn't know that we were 2 of us. So immediately the SS doctor told, "You're not going to work." And he took us, Bertha and me, to the SS Kommandantur in Hamburg. And he told that he found 2 pregnant women which can't go on with this hard work. And that we have to go away from Hamburg because all these women which are here have to work. And we are unable to work. Bertha was also in her 8th month of pregnancy. And her story, how she came to Hamburg, was similar to mine. We were asked, that means this SS doctor gave us over to another SS, which had his rifle, and on his rifle he had such a bayonet. And we were led to the railway station. And on the railway station, we heard that he's taking tickets to Ravensbrück.
You took tickets?
Yes, to Ravensbrück. And we went in a train from Hamburg to Ravensbrück. We went through Berlin, on the railway station in Berlin, and we were talking Czech with Bertha, and we saw Rollstiegen, steps, rolling steps. And we thought, oh, we will escape now. And on we went on the rolling steps, but we forget that we have got this prisoner sign, and the SS started to shout, and people upstairs were already waiting for us and holding us. We thought we can escape in the big Berlin with our bellies, and so we arrived in Ravensbrück, and we were on the Krankenrevier, and one evening they told all pregnant women has to come to a certain spot. And we arrived and we saw several pregnant women, perhaps 20 they were, standing there. And it was again my terrible instinct. I don't know how to tell it. I told Bertha, I will tell we are sisters and you have got pains and I will stay with you. You know, so very simple it was for me. And when we were standing with this in the heap of pregnant women, an SS came and told us we're going away with a transport. So I told I want to talk to the Lagerälteste, to SS women. And he told me, okay, come with me. And he brought me to the Lagerälteste. You know, it was when I'm thinking today, where did I get the thoughts? Where did I get the courage to think of things like this? I don't know. I don't know. It was, again, this instinct. I came to the Lager Älteste and I told, look here, we were just told that we are leaving this night, but my sister is pregnant too and she's got pains, and you as a woman, perhaps you understand I can't leave my sister in this state here. She's got pains. She told, and she gave the order, I am staying with my sister on the Krankenrevier because my sister has got pains. She didn't ask if it is true that it is a sister, not a sister or something. And we stayed overnight. The pregnant women went and never appeared again. They went to the gas chambers. The very next morning,
Where
in Ravensbrück.
In Ravensbrück?
Yes.
There were gas chamber in Ravensbrück?
No. They went away by transport to Auschwitz.
Yes.
To Auschwitz. We heard afterwards that they they arrived in Auschwitz. But we stayed overnight, and in the evening the others went. In the morning the SS doctor saw that it is not true that my sister has no pains. But we had to disappear from Ravensbrück. I don't know why. So the SS Lagerführer gave us an SS man, again with a rifle and with a bayonet, and a midwife. And we had to leave Ravensbrück. We were brought in a car, the Grüne Anton, where prisoners were transported. We both with Bertha were in a cell inside. And we told, we don't know where we're going. We're leaving Ravensbrück, perhaps. We have no idea where we're going. Out, we came from this Grüne Anton, and we were on the railway station of Ravensbrück, and we heard when the SS took 4 tickets, and he told, nach Auschwitz. And all our world, Bertha's world and mine, collapsed. Now you must know we had signs. We had a red triangle and over it a yellow one, the yellow man Jew. And with Bertha we decided to take off the Jew triangle, so because only the red triangle meant political. And we were political Jews. So we took off, that was the only thing we could do, the yellow triangle. And we arrived the next day, dinner time, and it was exactly dinner time in Auschwitz, with this SS and with the midwife. The SS took us to an office where only one German officer, SS officer, was sitting. I don't know if it was an officer, I think a German soldier was sitting. And he told, Heil Hitler, I'm bringing 2 pregnant women which not belonging to Ravensbrück. Because of their number, they belonging to Auschwitz. So I brought them back to Auschwitz. Heil Hitler, turned around, off he went. And I told to Bertha in Czech, he has no papers. Nothing he had from us. And already this German soldier called me, your name. And I gave a Czech name, Marie Svobodna. I asked me the name of my father. I told a Czech name I don't know, and it was Svobodny. And he asked me, Father Jew? I told no. Mother Jew? I told no. You're not a Jew? I told no. And he called my friend, and she just made the same. She gave a false name, because we had no names. We were cattle, numbered cattle. No names at all.
But there was not a chance and through the numbers they found.
There was, of course, a chance. But I just took the chance because I saw in the face of this soldier, he's such a very simple man, without any power. And we just arrived, I just told you, we arrived dinner time, and there was nobody there, only here. I think the other ones were just eating. So we took the chance, it was nothing. And he called for an ordonnance, that means a man who had to accompany us, and he told Frauenlager. The moment he told Frauenlager, I told, we were talking Czech together, so nobody with Berta. So I told, we will leave Berta. We're not going to the death. We're going to the Frauenlager. You know, it was every time a hope, and the will of living was so very strong. We were only thinking how to live, how to come over all of this. We came to the Frauenlager and we were a very big sensation. Because we were the first people who arrived back from a transport who ever left Auschwitz. Because as we didn't believe that the transports leaving Auschwitz has a destination. So nobody in Auschwitz believed it. And we were the first living witnesses who came back, and we told, yes, we were in Hamburg and we were working in Hamburg. And we just came back. And it spread it over the Frauenlager. We were such a sensation that Mengele heard about the sensation. And in he came to see us. And he called us. And he started to shout, how is it possible that I didn't see 2 pregnant women? Where were you when he didn't use the word selection, ausgesucht, when I was picking up people for work.
How did he say it in German?
In German.
What did he say in German?
Als ich die Leute für die Arbeit ausgesucht habe. And he just couldn't get it that he didn't see us. In the end, he told, okay, you will give birth. Sie entbinden sie und dann werden sie weitersehen. Give birth and then you will see. He came each day. A very charming man. And he talked several words with us about, I don't know which themes, but how you feeling, what you're doing, and so on.
How was he? He was, I heard that he was a handsome man.
He was attractive, very charming, very good manners.
He was tall, he was small.
No, he was middle size. He was not tall, he was not small, but he made a very good impression, and in his uniform and he was very self-conscious.
He was
very
young?
secure. He was young.
Young.
Yes. And of course we heard Mengele and we were afraid. We were very afraid of him. And my tongue was somehow stiff, and I only answered on his questions. Came every day to visit us and to see us. We were in the Krankenrevier of the Frauenlager. And one day in the afternoon I started with my pains. I didn't know they were pains. I thought I ate something. Because nobody told me, I had nobody to explain me. And the pains in the afternoon went stronger and stronger and stronger. And in this Krankenrevier was a midwife, a Polish midwife. And she saw me, and she took a cover and put it in the blocks. There was such an oven from one side to the other, and in the middle was, I don't know, it was, you could sit on it like a bench, a very, very, very long bench through the whole block. She put a cover on it, told me to lay down, and she started to pray the Rosenkranz near me, and the pains went stronger and stronger. And I gave birth this night to a beautiful girl, very big. She helped me. There was no cotton wool. There was no boiling water. There was nothing. I laid in my own dirt. The baby was born. And from somewhere she took off some linen, I don't know where she got it, and put the baby into the cot near me. And in the morning, Mengele came and told this woman, you have to put a bandage over her breast. She mustn't feed the baby. I want to see how long can a baby live without food. And my breasts were bound. And the baby was near me crying. It was hungry. And I got the soup. And I took off a little piece of the linen and took a little piece of bread, put it into the soup, put it into the linen, and put it into the mouth of my child because the child was hungry. And this went on for several days. I got high temperature running because I was swollen with milk and I couldn't breastfeed my baby. Every day Mengele came to see and to make his research. How long can a baby live without food? And as I told, no cotton wool. It was terrible how we were laying in our own dirt, both of us. The baby started to be skinny and more skinny and got edemas. It was a terrible sight. The 8th day when Mengele came, so he told, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock you will be ready with your child. I'm coming to fetch you. And I've known where he's going to fetch me. He's taking us to the gas chambers. And I didn't want it to live anymore. It was terrible. I couldn't bear it anymore. And somehow I was glad that I'm escaping this misery. And in the evening, when the lights went off, it started to be night. I've known it will be my last night, and my child couldn't cry anymore. It was terrible. I can hear the voice, the noise. It was not a voice even. And I started to cry because I've known tomorrow I'm going to die with my child. The lights went off and I started to scream because at night everything is terrible. And a doctor came to me, a woman doctor. Why are you screaming? And I told, I'm going to die tomorrow. She told, oh, that's you who returned from Hamburg. I told her, yes, I'm going tomorrow. Mengele is coming to fetch me. And she told, I must do something for you. She came back half an hour later with an injection needle. And she told me, give this to your child. I asked her, what is it? And she told me, morphine. I told her, look here, how can I give this to my child? How can I be the murderer of my child? She told me, I've made an oath of Hippocrates, and I must save lives. You're young, and I must save your life. Your child can't live. Look at the child, how it's looking. But you're young, and I must save you. And you will give this to your child because I can't. I didn't want it to. But she started to talk to me, into me. And the more she talked, the less I had any Widerstand, I didn't resistance until I made it. I gave the injection to my child. She took the injection needle away, and the child started to die near me. It took perhaps 1 hour, perhaps 2 hours, I don't know. In the mornings, when they started on the Krankenrevier, they every time collected corpses. And there was every morning a heap of corpses in Auschwitz. And they came and collected my child too, took it away from me. At 8 o'clock, Mengele came and I was ready to be transported. He asked me, where is the child? I told him, it died this night. I want to see the corpse. And off he went. I was told that he was looking for the corpse, but in this heap of corpse, to find such a tiny corpse, he couldn't. Even Dr. Mengele, for him it was difficult. He came back to me and told me in German, haben Sie ein Schwein gehabt, mit dem nächsten Transport gehen Sie weg. This is a German expression. You had luck. With the next transport, you're going away. I was not glad. I had no joy. I was broken. I didn't want it to leave. I wanted to leave. I didn't know what I wanted. I was, I think, so apathic. Nothing was for me. No joy at all. I came to Czechoslovakia, and I started to look, and I started to go wherever we decided to meet after the war. Not a single soul. Not a single soul. And I started to be desperate, and I started to look, and not a single soul. And I started to be alone, 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 until with this alone, I went into depression, and I had to be transported to a sanatorium, and I didn't want it to live. This broke me.
Everybody died.
Everybody. Nobody from my father's 13 sisters and brothers, with their children, with their wives. Only one aunt, she lived in Palestine, survived. The whole family went, and I was alone.
And your sister too?
Nobody. And I went into a depression and I was transported to a sanatorium because I didn't want to live. The doctors didn't know what to do. So one doctor was very clever. It was in a castle, this sanatorium. He told me one day I came and a very thick robe was laying on the table. And I told him I don't want to live. And he told, you know, I quite understand you. Outside there are big trees. Take this rope now and go and hang yourself. One possibility. The other possibility is start to make lines. What was and start to live. And every time when something happens to you, make a big line. And like this it was. And I started to make lines. And I made plenty of lines since and in my life. And I started to get hope. I know one person, she's my mother today and she lives in Israel. It's the doctor who saved my life. Never will I forget it, Matza Blaya, who saved my life. She's today a lady of nearly 80, a doctor.
The one who gave you the injection for the child. She's alive.
From Israel, I went to Czechoslovakia in 1965, and I found her. And when I came to her and stand in the door, I thought she will get a heart attack. We were so very excited, both of us.
She's Jewish?
She's Jewish. Matza Blaya, Dr. Matza Blaya.
And where is she now?
She is living in Israel.
She came.
She is living in Israel. She escaped in 1968 from Czechoslovakia, and she's my mother today. We are so very, very close. And I only want to tell you one very short story. I gave birth here in Israel to 2 boys. But when my first boy, when I was in hospital and when my first boy came out of my body, a nurse came and she took the child away. And the moment I saw she's taking the child away, I started to scream. Don't take my child away, you will kill my child, don't take my child away. I started to cry. The doctors and the nurses were looking at me. Nobody has known and nobody cared about people from concentration camps, what they went through. They thought I went mad. After one doctor came and gave me 2, he struck me, and so I told him, give me my child, don't take my child away. And he ordered to bring my child. I was the only mother whose child was laying near her because I told him the story. And I could never talk about it in the beginning. People didn't understand us. And we closed ourselves up because nobody could understand. And plenty of people committed suicide because there were no doctors and nobody could understand them. In 1949, I came to Israel. And I'm very happy here. It's the only country I can live and I will live. Whenever I'm going abroad, it is very nice to make sightseeing. It's very nice to be a tourist, even a guest. Somewhere in some houses all over the world I can be. But Israel is my home. When I came down the steps from the ship, my head went up. And I'm a proud Israeli who loves her country, can't live anywhere. One more thing I will tell you.
And you feel secure here?
Only secure in Israel. Nowhere else. I am amongst my people, and I have my country. I know I'm fighting for it because it is my country. My children are fighting for it. I never had a homeland. Nobody wanted us. Nobody gave us any help. Why was the whole Holocaust? Why 6 million had to leave, to give their lives? Because no country in the whole world gave us a hand to help. And here is my country because I'm here. I'm in my homeland, in my Heimat. I don't know how I'll tell you that because nobody gave us a hand, a help, therefore 6 million had to go, and it was very easy in the UN to raise the hand to vote for Israel. Should they have helped us, not the 6 million had to be here. But we have now our home, our Israel, and for this Israel I will fight. We will fight, and my children will fight, because we need to have a land where we can live as Jews and nobody tells us bloody Jew.
קדימה, קדימה, קדימה הפועל, היי, היי, קדימה הפועל. קדימה, היי, קדימה, היי, קדימה הפועל, היי, היי, קדימה הפועל. We didn't know what means Kadima. And there were 2 words, so it was very, very easy.
2 words of Hebrew.
Yes, 2 words of Hebrew. It was very easy to remember. And then when we gathered together with, there was, of course, the Zionistic Jews, youth. And when we gathered together, so there was one song that was, that is until today, we sing it in Israel too. Yes, it was, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.